Yep.
Oh my god! I don't even have Prison!
Okay,
Brother! Oh my god, get on!
That actually cooks him.
Okay, show of hands. How many of you were caught off guard that this Kell's Vengeance version of Tomb of Elders was actually somewhat difficult and fun compared to the rest of Tomb of the Elders that we got this episode? Yeah, my hand's up, because I thought that this was absolutely going to be a complete joke walking in. We were just gonna get into the activity, we're gonna hear some fallen Elixir slurs from Skolas because he hates us, and then we were just gonna kill him, and then run off into the sunset just like we did in the exotic mission, and that was that. Right? Turns out, not exactly. For starters, the activity is 2040 power, a master level activity. I believe the only thing higher in the game right now we have is GMs, and then Expert Onslaught, which goes up to 2065. But this activity is 30 levels above what the current pinnacle cap is at 2010. So everything is going to hurt when you go in. That being said, just because everything's going to hurt doesn't mean you should make your life any harder than it is. So you want to absolutely go in with 100 resilience and then resist on your chest piece. For the opening encounter, and I guess the first objective encounter, you need to prioritize arc because there's going to be Takens that shoot arc, there's going to be Cabal that shoot arc, and then as you get to the boss room, then it shifts to mainly Void with some Solar, so plan accordingly. Before we get to Skolas, let's talk about the first main encounter. Here, I'm seeing a lot of people get hard stuck and in trouble, mainly due to the time restrictions, not so much the actual combatants or the combat difficulty. And there's one very simple but big tip that I can give people here that'll get you through this encounter basically every single time. And if you're going to try to farm for the emblem in this activity, then you're going to do this quite a bit for this week at least. So, in this encounter, the objective is always one static objective, and that is blow up the 5 bombs, which will break the overshield on the 2 bosses in the middle of the arena. Then you kill the bosses, and lastly kill all the stragglers before the timer runs out. What most people do is they start the encounter, immediately go towards wherever the bomb guy spawns in, kill that bomb guy, and start throwing bombs everywhere. What most people don't realize is the timer actually starts when you hit the 3rd bomb of the activity, right? So, the big tip here is kill the initial first yellow bar, and then just memorize where at least like 4 of the bombs are, ideally all of them, obviously, and then hit 2 of them. Just 2, that's it. Once you hit 2, take that 3rd bomb and just throw it against the wall, on the floor, throw it at a scion, whatever. What's going to happen then is the timer will not start, and you will get another yellow bar that spawns in. You kill that yellow bar, it'll drop 3 more bombs, and what you do is each person on your team picks up a bomb, don't throw it yet, go to one of the locations that are remaining for the 3 remaining bombs, and then once each of you are at one of those locations, you go, okay, ready, 3, 2, 1, throw. So, you blow all of them up, the timer is just now starting, and the boss fight has already begun, and you still have 150 or 2 minutes, whatever the opening timer is. This is so much easier than throwing 3 bombs, having the timer start, you still have to kill a yellow bar, get 2 more bombs, blow those up, then you start the boss fight, then you kill the ads, and at that point, that's where people run out of time instantly. By doing it this way, we were clearing this room with maybe like 50 seconds to a minute still remaining while we were killing the final stragglers in the room. So that's a huge tip. Another thing I would suggest for this is bringing something like a Tether Hunter in, and then 2 offensive utility supers. So I personally just went in with Thunder Crash because T-Crash does silly bug damage this episode, and also I can just hot swap to an exotic class item and go Consecration crazy on the field, killing the bomb yellow bars before we actually get to the actual boss fight. But that's not like a mandatory composition. You could always bring like 3 of whatever characters you want, and then bring in like a Tractor if you don't have Tether, just to debuff the bosses, and then go wail on them with offensive supers. Now, as for Skolas, the final encounter for this, I'm just going to break it down in a very simplified way for what the objective is, and how you should go about it if you want to either get your 1 cleared and be 1 and done with this, or you want to go and farm out the emblem, assuming you don't get it first try, which most people won't. It seems like it's a pretty low drop rate. So that being said, let's go over the mechanics first, and then we'll get into the DPS. The first mechanic is Devouring Essence. If you did Prison of Elders in D1 versus Skolas, you know exactly how this works. Devouring Essence is a debuff that gets placed on one of you when the fight begins. It'll be a 30-second timer. If it reaches 0, you die, your teammates die, and you wipe. The only way to stop this is to either do the mechanical method of just having your teammate take it from you, or you accidentally die to like an ad or GL yourself or something like that. As long as it's not dying to the timer, you will not wipe. Now, if you're doing the mechanical method, your teammate will take it from you, they will then inherit that debuff for 30 seconds, and you will have drained of essence, which basically means you can't pick it back from them for the next 30 seconds. Actually, small correction there in editing, it's 25 seconds for the drained debuff, so I guess that gives you a little bit of leeway to juggle back and forth between two people, should that need to happen, but you get the idea. Now, while that is happening, the goal of this is to get a enhanced essence buff. This will only drop from a Baron in the arena, but you need to get to the Baron first. The way to get to the Baron quickly is to eliminate all of the orange bars scorn in the arena. I believe it's 4 orange bars to be killed, and then the Baron will be summoned. So try to alienate them immediately and not just like focus on the little stalkers in the middle. Try to kill 4 of those. That will summon the Scorn Baron. Once they are summoned, you need to go ahead and kill that Baron, and similar to how it is in Onslaught, they'll die, quote-unquote, but then a little totem will spawn in the air. You have to shoot that to permanently kill them, and then when that happens, they drop emote on the ground. This is what's going to give you the Enhanced Essence buff. The person with the Devouring Essence buff should pick that up. That will cleanse them, and then they can go do the next part of the mechanic, which is depositing the Enhanced Essence. So you may have already noticed this, but at the beginning of the fight, there are 3 servitors that are on the ground around the arena, and it says requires Enhanced Essence, but you can't initially do anything with it. So what you need to do is do the previous steps that I mentioned, and once you have the Enhanced Essence buff, you need to go and scout these 3 servitors. Only the person with the Enhanced Essence buff can do this, by the way. The other 2 will not see anything. What you're going to look for is one of the 3 servitors will be glowing. The other 2 will still be dormant. 1 will be glowing, or maybe pulsating is the better word for it. But it will be very noticeable that it's different from the other 2. That's the servitor you dunk into. Otherwise, you go to the wrong one, you dunk, and then you die. Once you complete this step, you have done a full cycle, and you need to do this 3 times total. Now, there's one mechanic left to talk about, and that is the red orb mechanic. You may have noticed when you're killing those orange bar Scorn, 1 will pop out and it'll be in the air trying to go to the next person, kind of trying to heal them. It's similar to the Dream City mechanic where you're doing that Ether Tank public event and they're coming out of the tank and you're trying to shoot them down before they get to the middle, otherwise you don't turn a heroic. It's like that here, except you're trying to stop it from healing Skolas in particular because that's heavily involved in the damage phase. So now that we explained what the mechanic is and that it'll heal Skolas during the damage phase as they come towards him, we're going to completely bypass that mechanic and make this kill incredibly free and easy for you. All you're going to need to do is, and stay with me on this one, is bring in a Titan. And you're thinking, oh wow, Consecration Titan, that's so original, haha. No. You're bringing in a Bubble Titan. That's right, Bubble Titan in the year 2025. This is going to accomplish 2 things. You're going to bring Bubble Titan and equip Helmet Saint 14, and then you're going to drop that sumbitch on Skolas when he starts the damage phase. And this will give you permanent weapons of light for your entire fire team for the duration of the damage phase, and more importantly, you're going to block out all of the red orbs around Skolas. That's right, they cannot get in to the Ward of Dawn, which means he cannot heal the entire damage phase. So with that in mind, your logical guess probably now is going to be, oh, you're popping a bubble on him, so you're going to use a Void Sword in that bubble to damage him because it's Void Surge, right? No, actually, that couldn't be further from the truth. Behold, Lord Chungus. That's right, Legend of Acreus, when it's not even Arc Surge, absolutely demolishes Skolas with ease. This is so simple to set up. Basically, what we did here was we had 2 Titans. One was a Bubble Titan, and then me on T-Crash. Then we had a Hunter with Tether on. What we did is, we put the bubble on, the Tether Hunter would then go inside the bubble and pop Tether on Skolas. I would go in with Thunder Crash, and from there on, we utilized Legend of Acreus. But that's not all. You can also use no backup plans on Titan, the exotic gloves, to increase the damage of your Legend of Acreus thanks to no backup plans. And the funny thing is, I didn't even do half of that. I didn't pop my Prismatic for 5% extra damage for my weapons, I didn't swap to no backup plans and Void Titan, and we still absolutely demolished him into the ground. Now, there's more than one way to one-phase Skolas. In fact, I'm going to be doing a video on different one-phases on him just to check out what I would use on different affinities. Obviously, on Arc, I'm going to go with Acreus, but there's going to be obviously Void and Solar, assuming they rotate weekly just like the original Skolas did in D1. So if you care about different affinities, stay tuned for that video. But other than that, I think this is the best and freest method for like 95% of people to go out there and get their 1 clear or just farming the emblem if they want to get that. It's just put a bubble, put a tether, accuracy him in the face, he's dead. Okay, one last thing before we close the video, I have a question for you guys. Is Skolas Fallen or Scorn? Because first he was Fallen, but then he died. So then Siva resurrected him, and then he died. And then he came back as a nightmare, and then he died. But then Fikrul reanimated his corpse, which should turn him into Scorn? Because if that's the case, then Fel the Revenant in the artifact will work on him, which means the Shadestalker armor is helpful. And the reason I'm asking that is because if that's true, I just want to give a small, very, very small shout out to the people that told me that the armor is useless and it's not worth farming. You shouldn't tell people to get this armor. We're never going to need it. We're not going to need the extra damage sneak. Yeah, well, maybe you should just shut up next time. All right. Anyway, all jokes aside, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Hopefully this helps you get your first clear or maybe your farm clears for your emblem. In the meantime, if you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. And if you want to go the extra mile, you could leave a like and or a comment below as well. If you don't know what to leave as a comment, you could leave Skolas as the comment. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.